The Seattle Seahawks pain me deeply because they keep doing the same things and expecting different results. The cliche overused definition of insanity. So today, I am gonna try to finally fix this team and address the problems that have existed for almost a decade at this point. And this is gonna be one of my more ranty rebuilds ever, at least for this intro. But I think y'all like that anyways, so I don't think that's too big of a problem. And I know I rebuild this Seahawks team a lot, but it is very different from the last time I have rebuilt it. I don't know if it's better, I don't know if it's worse, I don't know what it is. But it should be a lot of fun today, and it might be very hard. I'll explain why in a second. But super quick, for my first video back from me being sick, I still sound a little sick, I apologize. If we can get to 3,000 likes on this video, which I know we can do, I will do another Seahawks themed rebuild. I know I do them a lot, but I have another interesting one planned that I think y'all would really enjoy with a certain upcoming prospect. So if we can get to 3,000 likes, it'll let me know y'all want to see that. Plus, it really helps out the channel. I would very much appreciate it. And we are super close to 50K, trying to hit that soon. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because if we can hit 50K within the next few days, I have something super fun planned that'll come out whenever we hit that goal. And last thing, let me know if you have any fun rebuild ideas, because if I use your suggestion, I'll give you a shout out if you care about that. No shout out for this one, because this is just pure, raw, deep pain. But I normally do shout-outs if you care about that, or if you just want to see me do something, let me know. And last thing, be sure to turn on notifications for the channel. I don't normally plug this, but when I do, it seems like a lot of people do it. So yeah, if you want to get notified whenever I upload, which has been kind of inconsistent lately, unexpectedly, but it should be consistent again, and it'll make sure you never miss a video, and you can be one of the first people to ever see these videos. But without further ado, oop, you shouldn't be here. But without further ado, where should I start? And by the way, if you want to skip this whole intro rant, you definitely can. It's gonna be a long one. It might be shorter than I am expecting, but let me start with the positives here, because I feel like the negatives are gonna lead into something I'm gonna do here in a second. But the positives, the more I think about it, there aren't that many. I like that they signed Jerome Baker. I like Tyrell Dodson. I like both of them. I think PFF really likes Tyrell Dodson, but I've also heard Bills fans say he's mid, so I'm hoping he's somewhere in between a really good linebacker and just mid, hopefully. Jerome Baker, I am a fan of. And is that really all the positives I have? I thought I was gonna have more. Oh no. Okay, well, let's start with the first negative. I don't mind Rayshon Jenkins, honestly. He's fine. Oh yeah, and one of Mike McDonald's guys went to the Bengals for only like $2 million more per year, or $1.5 million. In Geno Stone, who was a much better safety in my opinion. I thought they were going to go for all Mike McDonald guys, but they didn't go for one. It was so weird. Patrick Queen would have been nice, but I'm not the biggest Patrick Queen fan. He's good, but I'm fine with the linebackers they got. I just didn't understand not getting Geno Stone for slightly more, for a much better guy with connections to the head coach. Obvious connections. Now on offense, I like Pharaoh Brown. He's underrated, but that was like their first move of free agency. Your first move is a number 2 tight end? Why? Like, the priorities of this team are so weird. Again, Pharaoh Brown's good and all, he's fine, but you're really gonna go number 2 tight end, something you can pretty easily fill in the draft over massive holes on this team, which we'll get to in a second. The Noah Fant re-signing, I think the player on paper's worth it, like $10.5 million per year, but his production wasn't great last year. I do think he's underrated and underutilized though, so I'm fine with it. Almost forgot about the Sam Howell trade. I hated it at first just because I'm like, why are you worried about backup quarterback? And then I remembered all the injuries and all that kind of stuff last year to quarterbacks. So it makes sense. I'm a big Sam Howell believer. I thought he was a first round talent in that draft. It was crazy he went in the 5th round to me. He hasn't been great in the NFL, but he had a bad offensive line. He did get himself sacked a lot, to be fair, but he did also have a pretty bad offensive line. And now maybe my least favorite move, which could actually end up being good, it just depends, is George Fant for like $7 million a year. On paper, that's fine. I realize, you have to pay up for offensive linemen, but if you're telling me I could have Geno Stone or George Fant for pretty much the same amount of money per year, who do you think I'm taking? I get positional value, all that kind of stuff. But if you're telling me I can have Geno Stone or George Fant for pretty much the same amount, I'm taking Geno Stone. Are you kidding me? And apparently, he's just going to be a swing tackle. He's not even going to start, or he might. I don't know. John Schneider had a super disappointing interview. It was like everything I didn't want to hear, all wrapped into one. And now, for the last thing, the biggest negative. Will the Seahawks ever learn that you just can't ignore interior offensive line? You can, but we've seen how that goes every single season. It's just, oh, this mid player gets injured. Let's throw the next one in. Oh, he gets injured. I guess that doesn't happen all the time. I feel like mid is generous. Most of their offensive lines are pretty terrible. Like they just get stuck with a below average guy for a whole year. They let him go and bring in another below average guy. I hate it. But this year, they didn't even really do that. They just don't have a left guard right now. Now, I'm assuming they're going to draft one, or at least I would hope so, but Anthony Bradford, I thought he was a reach, and he wasn't even that high of a pick to begin with. I just kind of thought he was bad, and he was bad last year. I like Nick Harris. That was a good signing, but it reminds me of the Evan Brown signing last year, which how did that work? It reminds me of bringing back Phil Haynes, which how did that work? Nick Harris might be a little better than those two, but definitely better than Phil Haynes, but I don't know. I like Timmy, he's fine. He's not like someone I would trust though, at least only in year 2. And this is a line that I feel needs experience on it. Like if there's any position group I'm fine with being super old, it's offensive line, and it's like their youngest position group. Just very inexperienced and just not very good. And it's been not very good for like 10 years at this point, and they just still refuse to invest. And you can say, oh, they're gonna draft someone this year. The 2 good linemen they've drafted in like the last 10 years are both currently on this team, and even then they've been a little disappointing so far in Charles Cross and Abe Lucas. Abe Lucas was just hurt last year, but my point is you can't keep ignoring offensive line, and we can't keep doing this whole 9-8, 8-9, 7-10, or maybe 10-7 and then lose in the wild card every single year. It just can't keep happening, but it will. I'd rather go like 4-13 for a season and then, fix the major needs and then be good for the future than keep doing this. Okay, well, the season comes down to this last game, but it doesn't really matter anyways because we're just gonna lose in the wild card. Like that's not a fun watching experience every year. Anyways, now that all the John Schneider meat writers hate me, I'm gonna make one move. We have all the current free agents here, at least as of the time of recording this. It definitely isn't a great guard free agent class out of who's still currently available, but I'm at least gonna sign one guard, so we have somebody. We're also gonna draft probably a couple, but Dalton Reisner, he has star dev that's interesting. Welcome to the team. So we have somebody at left guard. And I guess we'll move George Fant inside too, because I trust him more at guard than Anthony Bradford. I don't think George Fant has ever played a guard snap in his life, but we'll try it. So hey, I mean, if you're telling me this could be the O-line, I'm okay with that. I don't love it, but I'm okay with it. But all right, that's the last complaining I'm gonna do. That's probably a lie, but I'll try not to complain anymore about this team for the rest of the rebuild. Just had to get it all out of the way, all out of my system. Let's get into the rebuild and let's see what we want to do in the draft. It's weird to skip over free agency. This is the first non-free agency rebuild I've done. We're getting straight to the draft. But here in the draft, I realize the Seahawks are probably going to trade back in real life. I don't know if I'm going to do that, though. I guess it depends on if I think we can get Graham Barton in the second, or I don't know if we'll trade back that far. Also, by the way, I said I was done complaining, but I'm not going to complain about the Seahawks. I'm going to complain about the game, which, I'm sure that's new to y'all. You guys have never heard that before. But we still had some outdated picks. We still had the second round pick from the Leonard Williams trade. That happened at the fucking midseason. Why do they just not update this game? Why do they not do anything? They pay attention to Mutt, because that's like a child gambling machine, and then that's like all they pay attention to. Also, I had to trade for the Raiders' first round pick because they had number 16, and that's the Seahawks' real pick. The draft order's always fucked up in franchise just because you can't start present day with custom rosters for some reason. Also, Roma Dunze is still available for some reason. I'm not going to be doing that for obvious reasons. So I got all the Seahawks right picks. I traded the second away. I did all that. And I think we might trade this one back. I'm thinking like 24 24. I think that would be a pretty good spot. Oh, the Bengals have 24 apparently. But apparently according to the draft value calculator, this is fair. I'm terrible with trade value. We're trading back 8 spots for the Bengals' second round pick, which kind of seems like a lot, but it's a late second, so we'll take it. I'm assuming that's something like what the Seahawks are going to do. Trade back in the first round for a second round pick. We'll see. Ooh, Troy Fatanu's still available. I took him in the last Seahawks rebuild I did, though. I don't know if I want to do that again. I might go with Graham Barton here. I think I've had him in a rebuild before, but it's been a long time. Probably will go a little later than this, but I just want to switch it up, so let's take him. Hidden Dev, 92 strength, sounds good. And now in the second round, I feel like they're gonna really like Junior Colson, but he's not here. Something interesting is both of the linebackers they signed were both to just 1-year deals. I don't know why. I guess they're just 2 Band-Aid options there. So that means they are almost for sure going to draft a linebacker this year. I just don't know where. I wish they would have given them both 2-year deals and then drafted a linebacker in like the 4th to sit and develop, but I feel like they're going to take one higher than that. I don't know if I want to do that though. I mean, Jeremiah Trotter is still available. Should we do that? Yeah, let's do it. Jeremiah Trotter. I don't know if he'll still be available here. All right, I don't really see Jeremiah Trotter mocked to the Seahawks as much as I expected. And I feel like when I go away from what's mocked, it makes people mad. But that's kind of funny. So let's go with Jeremiah Trotter here. Out of Clemson. Another hidden dev sounds good. Wearing 54, I think I'm gonna change that, but sounds good. And last pick I'm gonna show, let's go with a defensive tackle. I kind of like Leonard Taylor. All right, yeah, last pick we'll go Leonard Taylor. I don't know if I've had him in a rebuild before, I can't remember, but I do like him, so we'll take him here. Another hidden dev. There are a lot of hidden devs in my draft classes, by the way. I give a lot of players lower overalls, so it's not gonna look good on paper, but a lot of them do have dev traits. That's just kind of how I do it for some reason. I don't really know why, but I do. But let's see how we did. But here's how we did in the draft. It was not bad for, you know, how my draft classes are. Graham Barton's a 73. I thought I had him more like a 75, but that's fine. Again, he'll probably go later than I took him, but I just didn't want to use the same player I've been using, so we went with Graham Barton. I got accused of being a biased Washington fan, a biased UW fan, for taking Troy Fatanu at 16 or whatever. Which A, that's a highly mocked pick. That's not something I'm making up. And B, I'm a Washington State fan. I am not a Husky fan. I'm not even like the highest in the world on Troy Fatanu. I think he's good, but I wouldn't be absolutely insane about it if they took him at 16. I would be fine with it, but I don't know. Anyways, Graham Barton should be good. We'll see if we start him this year. We very well could. Then Jeremiah Trotter, pretty good, 73 overall. Leonard Taylor, 72. Then I took these 2 picks, Layden Robinson and Cole Bishop. I don't know what they're going to do with those kind of picks. I'm glad the CPU picked a tight end because I forgot to. I do like Tyler Mabry though, so I don't know. Then Cam Hart. It wouldn't be a Brandon the Simp rebuild without Cam Hart for some reason. Either I always pick him or the CPU picks him. But this was a pretty good draft. I'm happy with how this went. But let's get into year 1 and we will see how the team's looking. But here's a look at the team. We're looking pretty decent. I'm still worried about this O-line. I feel like one injury and it's over, but hopefully not. I mean, I know we have injuries off here. I'm just saying if this were real, I would definitely still be worried about it, but at least it's a million times better than how it looks in real life. You just need to trust the process. They'll get it eventually. You're just a hater. You're not a real Seahawks fan. Fucking, I've seen them do the same thing like 5 off seasons in a row, and it's went the exact same way every time. I hate people that say that, dude. It's not some delusion. It's what's been happening every year. Anyways, I said I wouldn't complain about the Seahawks anymore. That's just whatever. Y'all knew it would happen. But yeah, we're looking a lot better than we were. And I like the it's a lot of star dev on defense. It's a very silver defense. I'm pretty sure all the players we drafted also have star dev. Trotter could have superstar. I don't know. I don't remember, but it is a lot of silver head-ass looking players here. I'm surprised Witherspoon doesn't have superstar. No, I think he does. This game's just stupid. It shows that he has superstar outside of franchise in the rosters, but when you load him into franchise, he doesn't have it. Should I I just give it? He has it. I'm gonna give it to him. He doesn't have big hitter. Excuse me? This game is something else. All right, I've been yapping a lot to start off this rebuild. I'll try to keep the yapping to a minimum. Let's get to the mid-season point of year 1, and we will see how we're doing. Hopefully pretty good, but I have zero idea. Okay, we are 5-2 at the mid-season, which I think the Seahawks were in real life this past year, so I don't know if we should be too confident here. We'll see what happens in the second half of the season. I feel like whenever I see the Seahawks in simulation, like when I'm using a different team, they're terrible, but they're like the one team whenever I use them, they do pretty well. So good start here. We're only an 82 overall. Like, we're not a great roster. Oh, the Patriots and Raiders are 0-6. That's tough. But we have some interesting re-signings here. So I actually put in effort and made sure I knew who our upcoming contracts would be. So I set our focus positions as safety and corner, or at least, you know, I'll set one of the two as that, whichever class is stronger. So I don't know if I'm going to bring back either of these two. Julian, they're both pretty cheap, actually. I don't know if I want to give Julian Love 5 years, though. How about 3 years, 24.6? And he does take it. Okay, cool. And then Trey Brown, again, this is very cheap. We'll go 2 years, 11 mil, and he takes it. And then everyone else is mostly just depth. George Fant should be on a longer deal. Hold on. I love how you can't make custom contracts outside of franchise. It's great. He's in his second year. Oh, I guess it counts the first year. We'll just send him back to the first. The money isn't right, but I don't have the time to get that all right. I would if I could change it outside of franchise, but I can't. Love this game. But yeah, amazing start to the year. We'll have to see how it goes in the second half. So let's get to the end of the season and we will see what happens. I feel like my nose is getting more and more plugged up as I go. I probably sound horrible, whatever. But in year 1, we finish 11-6, and we pretty easily make the playoffs. Now, will we continue the Seahawks thing of losing in the wild card, or will we get a playoff win? Their first playoff win in like 7 or 8 years. I guess we'll see. But let's go quickly through our season stats. I think I'm gonna start going through the stats quicker. Like, watching my videos, I realize I spend a lot of time on the stats. I probably still will, but I'll try not to spend as much. Geno Smith was okay. This is probably a realistic Geno Smith season. 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 picks. Probably more touchdown passes if he actually had an offensive line, which he kind of does here, but a true, like, really good one. Kenneth Walker, 1,250 yards, 9 touchdowns. He was pretty good. Same with Charbonnet. 1,100 yards for Metcalf, 6 touchdowns. Lockett was good. JSN was good. The tackle duo was horrible, but the interior wasn't bad. Nick Harris wasn't great, but that's not what I expected there. And Jerome Baker led the team with 117 tackles. Tackles for loss, 16 for Williams, 10 for Nwosu, and sacks. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, Nwosu had like 12 the last time he was healthy. Mafe had like 9 last year or something. This is a certified EA moment. And then interceptions, 4 for Witherspoon, 3 for Baker, and then 1 for a couple players. Something I'm realizing I forgot to do is I forgot to give us the Ravens defensive playbook. I'll do that. I guess it doesn't really matter because our defense was fine, but still. But Patrick Mahomes wins MVP. I saw Jameis Winston on the Vikings at number 9. First of all, he's on the Browns. I guess maybe they could cut him and then the Vikings could sign him, but they really didn't get someone better than Jameis, and he did well enough to be up there for MVP. Okay. Offensive player of the year goes to Brandon Ayuk. Kadarrell Hodge on the Cowboys? What is this? Defensive player of the year goes to Micah Parsons. If my controller disconnects one more time, I don't know what's been wrong with it lately. It disconnected again. Offensive rookie of the year goes to Michael Penix Jr. on the Commanders. Maybe, but they'll probably just get Drake May. Bo Nix on the Buccaneers up there. There's some weird shit happening here. And defensive rookie of the year goes to Laiatu Latu for the Vikings. I feel like he always wins it in my rebuilds. Leonard Taylor at number 3, we'll take that. I'm a big Latu fan though. I feel like he could do very well as a rookie. I don't know about Penix winning offensive rookie of the year, but I guess you never know. I don't think he'll start year 1 though. But in the playoffs, we are of course taking on the Green Bay Packers, who went 12-5, but they have a worse overall team than us. We're an 83 to their 82. And for dev traits, Barton only has star, which I expected. Taylor only has star. We'll see what Trotters is. Again, probably just star. Same with Bishop, but I did hand out a lot of star devs for these draft classes, just so they can actually develop. But enough yapping. It looks like the Packers had a good defense, but a slightly worse offense than us. They had a pretty bad pass game, but a good run game now led by Josh Jacobs, which, let me yap for another second. That is like the weirdest signing interesting to me. I don't know why. I feel like that is the weirdest team Josh Jacobs could have gone to. Not that it's like a bad fit, but just thinking about him in a Packers uniform is so weird to me. I don't know. That's so interesting. I do like the fit though. I think he could be pretty good. But let's simulate this game out and let's probably lose. But it's only year one, so it doesn't really matter. And we do. 31-27. I don't know, we had a pretty good defense, but I'll be realistic, we'll switch it to the Ravens. Probably gonna be worse next year, but I gotta be realistic. Damn, other than my voice being terrible, it feels good to be back. I miss doing these. But in the Super Bowl, the Colts beat the Cowboys 27-26. I don't know about that one. I'd be willing to bet a decent amount of money that won't happen, but the Colts are a very well-coached team. I can't really say the same for the Cowboys, but at least the Cowboys roster is pretty good. I don't know if that's going to be a Super Bowl, though. I'm going to be honest. At least not next year. But let's see who we want to re-sign. We'll pick up the 5th year for Charles Cross, and Dalton Reisner isn't interested. He was decent, but just isn't interested. Nick Harris, we'll look to upgrade there. I need to extend Rayshon Jenkins' deal, but he's regressing, so that's tough. And Pharaoh Brown's deal. This team just loves to make budget signings that aren't actually budget signings. I hate it. I mean, Pharaoh Brown I think is underrated, but again, I don't know. They keep trying to go for the next like Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill, like good budget free agent signing, but when's the last time that has even worked for this team? I don't know. But I don't think I'm gonna bring any of these guys back. It's just a lot of depth. So let's see what we can do in free agency. But I don't know how many players here are actually projected to be free agents next year. I don't know how realistic this is going to be, but there's nothing I can really do about that. Again, I can't really edit contracts outside of franchise. But what do we want to do here? I do want an offensive lineman. What if we go for Wyatt Teller? Ooh, he's not interested and he has a lot of offers, but I would like him. Okay, well, that's not going to happen. That's tough. Joel Bitonio, I get him way too much. Oh, wait, and I'm realizing the Jerome Baker and Tyrell Dodson deals should have been up. Just another joy of this game that you can't make contracts outside of franchise. We'll just pretend we re-signed him. How about that? That works. I'll remember next year, though. We'll pretend we gave him another one-year deal. This has been a jank rebuild. My excuse is going to be that I'm sick, all right? That's a valid excuse, I think. But we're really not going to do too much, I don't think. We're going to be ultra conservative like the Seahawks free agent periods usually are. We'll just go for Dalton Reisner and Nick Harris. We'll try to bring them back. And we do get both of them. Okay, cool. Now let's get to the draft. But in the draft, we pick at number 22. Another certified EA moment here. There have been a lot so far. I focus scouted safeties, but because I had a custom draft class last year, now it just shows every safety is a top 5 talent. So I love that glitch. Love that's been a thing for years now and still hasn't been fixed. But I definitely do want a safety. It would have been easier if I knew actually how good they were, but I guess this adds a little bit extra challenge to it. I definitely do think the best one is Jelani Lewis, though. I wish he had better acceleration, but great speed. Ran a 4.35 at his pro day. Can't wait for it to be 90 speed. No, it'll probably be better than that, but A awareness, A man. I don't think he's insane, but I think he's the best safety, and safety is a pretty decent need for us right now. There wasn't really anyone else too crazy looking at like relative positions of need, like guard. I mean, there were good players, just nobody worth like a first-round pick. There was an insane-looking receiver that obviously I wasn't going to take, but we'll see what his overall was. His name was like Childress or something. Anyways, enough yapping. I don't think Jelani Lewis is going to be great, but I'm hoping for a dev trait. I shouldn't have said that. He's not going to have one now. Okay, just kidding, he does. 92 speed, I feel like, I guess he ran a 4.42 at the Combine. That's fine. But the 90 Excel, or the 88 Excel, I feel like 92 speed, 88 Excel would be like a 4.45, but he ran a 4.35 at his pro day. I don't know. Whatever. Could be worse. And now let's go with a guard. Or actually, there was a good-looking center. What's Roy McLean's strength? Decent? I was hoping it would be better. I feel like 32 bench reps is a little better than decent, but whatever. I might go with another secondary player. Never mind. Well, Carl Baker has elite acceleration, but he also ran a 4.5. He only has solid speed. He does have elite jumping, though. We're really pulling the Seahawks strategy of not investing in guard here, and I think that's going to continue because I don't really like any of the guards. I think we're going to go with Walter Briggs out of Syracuse. The only thing I don't like about him is he is 23 years old, but he's 6'3", 209, and ran a 4.34 and a 4.28 at his pro day. There's a corner that ran a faster pro day than him. Who is it? Antonio Woods, a projected UDFA. He actually doesn't look bad. I'm going to take him later. But anyways, let's go with Walter Briggs out of Syracuse. Why would a great athlete have a good dev trait? Normal dev. He'll start for us. He'll be a decent overall, but that's tough. And here I'll finally take a lineman with the last pick that I'm going to show here. I think I'm also going to take a tight end because I think Noah Fansteel's going to be up. I kind of like Morgan Ebert, a bear. Probably a bear. He's a pass protector with B run block. I definitely like that. His strength isn't the best, but elite agility, I don't think he's going to be great, but hopefully decent. I don't feel super confident that we did well with this draft, but I think we did well enough. We'll take him. And he does have hidden dev. That's surprising, but only 84 strength. He's probably decent. We'll take it. And let's see how we did. Okay, yeah, this was definitely an interesting draft. Nobody was the overall I thought they were. Jelani Lewis is a 77. He's pretty good. He'll start for us at, I guess, strong safety. I don't know. He wouldn't be a scheme fit there. We'll see what we do. But Walter Briggs, I wish he had a dev trait because he's a 79 overall. He is not bad. Just, yeah, no dev trait. So it's going to be really hard for him to develop literally at all because he's also 23 already, but whatever. And then Morgan Hebert, whatever his name is, I don't know. I know there's Hebert if it has an H. I don't know how you say it without the H. I don't know. He looks good. He has good run block, good base run block, but he has 63 run block power and 65 run block finesse. So how are you a good run blocker, but also a terrible run blocker? I don't get it. Why is that a thing? I actually made a lot of picks here. I took Brandon Webster. He does have a dev trait. I thought he would be a higher overall, but he's one of those classic blocking tight ends. He'll be our new, I guess, Will Dissly. Antonio Woods is only a 67, and then Bernie Berg, which is a hell of a name. He was a slot receiver with B medium route, which I thought was interesting. I thought he would be good, but no. He's 59 deep route. And then I didn't take Bobby Roode, whatever. Oh yeah, I want to see what the one receiver was. He looked crazy. He wasn't even projected to go that high either. He's fine, 79 overall, but he had like all A's across the board. I guess he is well-rounded, but interesting. Oh yeah, and where does our corner rank in the class? He's tied for 7th, so he was a top 10 talent, but just no dev trait is unfortunate. But here we are heading into year 2. The team's looking pretty good. It's not the best overall, but an 83 isn't bad, and it is a pretty young team now. Also, something I didn't even think about, I thought about this yesterday, but like, I just forgot to mention it, is once Gino's contract is up, unless he's playing like super well, then we'll re-sign him. But if not, I think we'll turn to Sam Howell. Now, if Gino's still playing well, I'll re-sign him and stuff, but we'll see about that. And if Gino doesn't do well and we move to Sam Howell and he sucks, then I won't commit to him, but we'll see. There could be something there. As y'all know, I'm like the biggest Gino defender in the world, but if he doesn't do well in the next couple years or whenever his contract is due, then we might move off of him. We'll see. My controller disconnect. Okay, there we go. But here's how the defense is looking. It's mostly the same as last year, just with Briggs and Lewis. We didn't add like anyone in free agency because I didn't really feel the need to. Like, we don't really have any holes on this team anymore. There are definitely things we can upgrade, but there isn't really a position group I can point to and be like, oh, that's terrible. That's gonna be awful this next year. I mean, our edge group probably will be, but that's just a Madden thing and not really a... Like, they're both good overalls, but there's not much I can do about that. Which, by the way, if Chen Nwosu and Boye Mafe stay healthy this year, that could be a hell of a duo. We'll see, though. They're not really the power types that are usually good for this Ravens-style defense, but I just think they're good players. We'll see. But let's get to the midseason point of year 2. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Like I said, I tried to extend... No, I didn't say. I literally showed me doing it. I tried to extend Rayshawn Jenkins and, who was the other one? Oh, Pharaoh Brown? Like, y'all saw me extending their contracts, adding another year to it. It just didn't do anything. I forgot it does that, where you can change their deal in the offseason, and it just won't save for some reason. Like, I didn't fuck anything up. It did it for both of them. I guess you could maybe say I just made a mistake, but no, I think I showed it. I don't know. I added a year to both of their contracts, and it just didn't save, or ignored it. I don't know. This is certainly a game. Okay, wow. I actually thought we would be kind of terrible this year. Usually there is a down year in Madden Simulation where you just randomly do much worse than you should, but we are 5-2. Our defense is bad. The Ravens' defensive playbook apparently isn't great, but our offense is pretty good. We have one of the better scoring offenses, but for yards, it's like 11th or 12th. I'm surprised we're as good as we are. Those numbers aren't great. We are 9th for offensive yards, actually. 26th for defensive. We might fall off in the second half of the year. Hopefully not. I guess we'll see, but we have some re-signings this year. How many of these are real? Ooh. What year are we in? 2025? I don't think DK's deal expires in 2026, does it? Oh, it does. Tough. All right, well, I'm obviously gonna bring him back. Doesn't take it. Why? It said he was like full interest. Why would he not take it? If he was like mid-interest and we offered him neutral, then that would make sense to be on the fence, but it's almost full. I love this game. Kenneth Walker will go 5 years, 65.5 mil, long deal, and he doesn't take it. I'm sensing a theme here. Tariq Woolen, I'll up it, 4 years, 44.4 mil. He takes it. Okay, cool. Boye Mafe, I was gonna say how's he doing, but he's not very expensive. We'll go 3 years, 26 mil. He is awful in this game, but he's good on paper, and that's really all I can go for. And Noah Fant, I don't know. We just don't use him much. He did actually end up with almost 600 yards last year, but he only has 190 so far this year. I'm good. Again, not because he's a bad player, but we're just not using him. And I want to bring one of these linebackers back. I guess we'll go with Dodson because he's actually interested. We'll go 4 years, 35. That's pretty expensive. He does take it though. I guess it wouldn't be too expensive at this point, but it's long. Oh my God, my voice. Ow. And how's Abe Lucas been doing? Has he been better this year? Not really. Tyler Lockett, what do we want to do there? One of my favorite players ever, like top 2 or 3, but he is 32. If we do re-sign him, it'll be at the end of the year once he regresses a little bit. Dre Jones, I'm good. Sam Howell, that's expensive for a backup QB. Although backup QBs are getting paid in real life this year because teams realize, oh hey, we need a good backup QB or else we're screwed when our starter goes down. This is gonna be insane, but I might actually do this. Would he really take this long of a deal though? Like, why would he want that? Wouldn't he just like want a 1 year, 10 to 15 mil deal, or to go somewhere else to be a starter? I don't know. I'll still do it, but it's interesting. I don't think that's a good deal for either side. It could be a good deal for us, but I don't know. And Gino is due for a contract this year. Leonard Williams shouldn't be. When does his deal expire? 27, so I'll just do that. He takes it. This is a big re-signing period here. There's a lot happening. Honestly, with Gino, we'll see. His deal's almost, well, his deal is up, but that's not what I was gonna say. He's just not very interested. But Michael Dixon, I'll re-sign him. One of the best punters in the league. And we are not close to done here. We'll have to reassess all these deals at the end of the year. I don't know why every contract is set to be up in the same offseason, but that's definitely a strategy. But let's get to the playoffs and we will see how we finish. I forgot to set my focus position. I'm stupid. But here we are at the end of year number 2, and if you've seen one of these videos before, y'all know why we're here. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like on the video. Like, if there's anything I could ever ask you to do, it's just that. It helps out the channel a ton. And again, if we hit 3,000 likes, I'll rebuild the Seahawks again. So, you know, make me do it against my will if we hit 3,000 likes. It'll let me know y'all want to see another one of these. And again, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to hit 50K really soon. I see something disappointing, but yeah, subscribe for more if you've liked this video so far, if you don't hate me, which maybe you do. I don't know. I haven't been that controversial, but I could see people being annoyed by my complaining. I don't care though. And of course, last thing, let me know what team I should rebuild next, because if I use your suggestion, or even if I don't and I just do that video, I sometimes just pull a suggestion even if I don't get it from that suggestion. I don't know, I'm weird like that. So just let me know any fun rebuild ideas y'all have down below. But anyways, in year number 2, we finished 12-5 and we made the playoffs. Now this, I still don't think we're gonna get a playoff win for a few reasons. First one being the Seahawks. Second one being our defense is very terrible. Third reason being, it's just hard to win playoff games in Madden Simulation no matter what your team overall is. And fourth reason being, as of late, we haven't been as good. We've gone 2-3 in the last 5 games. And through this stretch, we were only 1-3 right here. We did thankfully win the last game of the year, but we got smoked by the Eagles, who we're going to be taking on in the wild card, 42-21. Uh-oh. The other ones were close losses, but that one wasn't close. But let's go super quick over our season stats once again. Oh no, we're gonna have to stick with Gino. I mean, 3,900 yards, 34 touchdowns, 9 picks. He was very good. We can't move off of him after that season. I know it would be fun to start Sam Howell, but honestly, a lot of the time he's not very good in this game. So we're not gonna sacrifice the success of this rebuild just to do something that would be pretty interesting. Unless we can't get Geno back, which maybe. But Kenneth Walker, 1,500 yards, 5.1 per carry, 12 touchdowns. 1,000 yards on the dot for DK, 11 touchdowns. Lockett was good. JSN was okay. The blocking was good. Bear wasn't very good as a rookie, but the rest was pretty good. Baker led the team with 118 tackles. TFLs, we had a good amount, led by 15 from Dodson and Leonard Williams. And sacks, 7.5 for Nwosu, 6 for Mafe. Not as good as they should have done, but better than last year. 6 for Taylor. He's been pretty good. Leonard Williams hasn't really done much, but the TFLs are pretty good, I guess. And then interceptions, 4 for Woolen, 2 for Love, and then 1 for 3 players. But MVP goes to Joe Burrow this year. That's different. Caleb Williams on the Titans. Caleb Williams just never gets picked at #1 overall in these rebuilds. I don't know why. I wish I could make him get picked, but I can't. He's my highest rated QB. He has the best dev trade out of any of them. Teams just pass on him. I don't know why. But Offensive Player of the Year goes to Jalen Hurts. Kenneth Walker at number 6. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Trayvon Ringer for the Falcons. And Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Will Powell for the 49ers. No Seahawks up there for either of those awards. What did our rookie safety do? Which, let's go over dev traits super quick. This is going to be like an hour-and-a-half long video. I apologize. There's just a lot to talk about here. But what I was disappointed about earlier on defense is Lewis only has star dev. I thought for sure he would have superstar just because I don't know. Usually if safeties are a really high overall, like 80 to 82, they'll have star a decent amount of the time. But if they're like that 77 to sometimes 80, a lot of the time they'll have superstar, but Lewis doesn't, unfortunately. Honestly, a lot of the time they'll have normal, but if they do have hidden, it's usually superstar, but not for him. For Hebert, it's only star, but Webster does have superstar, so that's huge. Again, I don't know what archetype, like, all the superstar and X-Factor blocking tight ends are trying to be, because, like, is there really an elite, pure blocking tight end in the league? I mean, there's George Kittle, but A, that's just one, and B, he's obviously a very good receiving tight end too. He's not just a pure blocker like these guys are. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what type of players those are supposed to be. The only one I can think of is like Josh Oliver, but should Josh Oliver have superstar dev? Like, I don't know. Anyways, we have some upgrades here. Anything important? Cam Hart. I forgot we took Cam Hart. I've been taking a lot of corners. I guess I didn't take Cam Hart, but still. But let's simulate this game out against the Eagles and we will see what happens. Okay, well, we stay owning the Eagles, I guess. I mean, they kind of destroyed us this season, but we won when it mattered. We beat them in the playoffs, 23-21. And we are once again gonna be facing the Green Bay Packers in the divisional. Ooh, some pretty big upgrades. Devin Witherspoon, Leonard Taylor, Dalton Reisner, even Cam Young, which I wasn't crazy about Cam Young when they took him, but he was pretty decent as a rookie. But let's sim this game against the Packers and let's see what happens here. We do actually have the better overall than them, and of course that leads to a loss. Why would we beat a team that we're a better overall than while we're at home? You hate to see it. What is going on with the Colts here? They win another Super Bowl, 28-17 over the Packers. Why? Did they sign someone really good? Did they sign like Mike Williams or something? Why is the screen really low? Why is there a big gap at the top? I don't know. They signed Zadarius Smith. They drafted Johnny Newton. They signed Jamal Adams and Xavier Woods. I don't know. This team isn't crazy, but I guess it's probably well-rounded. Why are they back-to-back Super Bowl winners? That's so interesting. But of course, we still have a hefty amount of re-signings to worry about. We'll pick up the 5th year for Devin Witherspoon. I want to re-sign DK, but does he want to re-sign? We'll go neutral again, but we'll up it a little bit, I guess. And he does take it. We would have just tagged him if he rejected it, but he does thankfully take it. We'll go player friendly for Kenneth Walker, 5 years, 88 mil, and he does take it too. I'll pick up the 5th. That's pretty expensive, but we'll pick it up. We can restructure some deals if we have to. We are not going to re-sign Noah Fant, though. We just don't really use him, unfortunately. Jerome Baker, we won't bring him back. Just not interested. Abe Lucas, how did he end up being? I think he ended up pretty good, but I don't know if I trust him. Yeah, he only allowed 6 sacks. That's really good, but I don't trust that. Did Tyler Lockett end up developing throughout the year? I wish I could just re-sign him on a 1 year. I don't know if I want to do 2. How about 1 year 12? He takes it. Okay, cool. I mean, he's old, but he's still a good overall. Oh yeah, and Geno Smith. This isn't very expensive. It's actually pretty cheap for how he's been playing. We'll go 3 years, 92.7, and he doesn't take it. How much is a tag? No. I really do want him back though, but I'm scared of Sam Howell. I don't think he's gonna do well for us here. At least in this franchise, I mean. He could very well do well in real life when he gets his chance, but I don't know. I want Geno back, but I don't want to tag him. All right, we'll re-sign Abe Lucas, 2 years, 20 mil. He takes it. And now let's get into free agency. This is a really interesting offseason. I want Geno back, but if we can't get him back, I guess we have no other choice but Sam Howell, unless we want to draft a QB, but I don't know. Okay, Geno has no offers. Did the Bears really not draft a QB? Tyson Bagent, whatever, he's developed. He's been starting for somebody. Did they really not draft a QB? Are we serious? Madden, come on. They didn't draft a QB. Oh my God. This game, dude, this is something. But in free agency, I find it ironic how much I complained about the Seahawks being too conservative with free agency in real life, but I've been very conservative with free agency. I guess it's because our roster has been good enough to not need to go crazy, where in real life that isn't the case. Not that they need to go crazy in real life, but they needed to do more than what they did, in my opinion, at least for the offensive line. My controller isn't working. This is a rough one so far. But these are the three players I'm going for. We're going to go for Geno Smith. We're obviously going to try to bring him back. We're also going to go for Zach Allen to replace Draymond Jones. I honestly wanted the Seahawks to sign Zach Allen instead of Draymond Jones last offseason. And big shocker, who ended up having the better season last year? Zach Allen. Who was cheaper last year? Zach Allen. Big shocker. And then we'll also go for Daniel Bellinger to be a decent tight end too. We're going to start the guy with superstar dev. It is a decent free agent class, but like, you know, we could go for Kenny Clark. He isn't that expensive. How has he been? Actually pretty good. You know what? I'm glad I looked. My controller, dude. Okay, so no more Zach Allen. We'll go for these three. So let's see if they want to sign, and it looks like all three of them do. So those are some pretty big additions. Well, one big addition, one big re-signing, and then a not very massive addition, but a decent player. So we should be looking pretty good. And let's see what we can do in the draft. But in the draft, the Commanders pick at number 1. We pick at 27. Not a great pick, but it does look like a better interior O-line class again, at least. Or not again, but unlike last year, it looks like a good one. Dale Daniels isn't as good as I expected. Let me see who we want to take. Maybe I spoke too soon. It's a decent O-line class, but none of these guys look great to me. I think Glenn McDougal might be the best, but his finesse is pretty bad. I gave myself a heart attack. I almost pressed A, or I pressed B, but I thought I was pressing A, trying to back out of a player. I thought I accidentally just took Jesus Vallejo in the first round. That would have been tough. He didn't look very good. All right, yeah, I think we're just gonna take Glenn McDougal out of pure need. Again, not usually great to go with a pick out of pure desperation. That's how you pick a bust. But McDougal at least looks decent. I think he'll be like a 75 or something. We'll take him. He does have hidden dev, 91 strength. We'll take it. Not great, but good enough. And now we're kind of in a position to just take luxury picks. I mean, our roster's pretty good. We don't have like many insane players, but we're complete. So I guess I can't really call them luxury picks, but I guess more future picks. Juan Parker actually looks pretty good. I just don't think he would be very good at outside linebacker. He doesn't have very good speed. He did have a really good 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle though. Maybe he would be pretty good at outside linebacker. I don't know. He'll only be like a 73 overall, and then we'll move him and it'll be a 70. So I don't know if I want to do that. Ooh. Okay, he has terrible play rec, but the safety doesn't look bad for the most part. Interesting. I think we might just go with like a good third linebacker. I don't know what else to do. Doug Johnson looks pretty good. Kurt Melvin looks pretty good too. I kind of like him more because he has better acceleration and he actually has elite speed, great strength. I think we'll go with him. Could have normal. I've seen linebackers like him that have normal. This is kind of a reach because he's a day 3 player, but we'll take him. No, he does have hidden. Okay, he looks pretty good. 90 speed, 89 excel, 78 strength. We'll take it. Probably could have taken him later, but I think he's good. Oh God, another one of these 6'8 receivers. I hate that these receivers exist. Like there is never a 6'8 receiver. The closest thing we have this year is Johnny Wilson, who's 6'7", and that's super weird. Like, I don't even know the last 6'7" receiver in the draft, but in every single Madden draft, there's a 6'8 receiver for some reason. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if I'm going to take him, because they usually aren't that good, but what's his speed? It's actually pretty, well, a 4.44 and a 4.41 is only solid and decent? Really? Why? Like, if anything, that's really impressive at 6'8", 231, but just in general, a 4.44 and a 4.41's good. Whatever, we'll take him. Normal dev, sure. whatever. I don't care. We needed a fourth receiver. I've had some really questionable drafting in this rebuild. But to be fair, I feel like there have been very questionable players. Okay, yeah, this was definitely a draft. That was a good prediction. 75 overall for Glenn McDougal. I kind of thought Kurt Melvin would be a little higher of an overall. I thought he would also be like a 75, but his coverage just isn't that good. I thought it would be better, but he's really athletic at least. And then Daniel Ridgway's actually a higher overall than I expected. I was expecting this one to look really rough, but nah, he's a 74. He's definitely not bad. Just wish he had a dev trait. And then the CPU, I also took Nate Whitman. He isn't very good. The CPU did something. They just picked depth too. That's mostly what we could do. There just wasn't really that good of a player available at a position of need, at least from what I saw. There were some really good players that went before us though. An 84 overall guard, 83 overall D lineman at number 1. Like, this first round was strong, but all the top players were before we could pick. Juwan Russell was good, but I wasn't going to pick receiver in the second round. I guess I could have, but I didn't. But yeah, very strong draft class early on. Of course, before we had a pick. But here we are heading into year 3. Not the best overall team in the world, but it feels better than it actually is. It's been performing better than it actually is. We're a really young team at the very least, for the most part, as I keep saying. This defense is interesting. I feel better about our offense than I do our defense. Just, it's a lot of pretty good players, but only 2 like really high overall players, and even then they're not like insane overalls. I mean, Witherspoon at a 92 is really good with the X Factor, but our next closest is Kenny Clark at only an 88, and then after that it's like Mafe at an 84 playing up, or an 83 playing up to an 84. Like, in free agency this coming year, I want to add another really good player on defense. I guess we kind of did that with Kenny Clark, but I think we'll try to do that again this year. This could be a down year, hopefully not, but at the very least, hopefully we get some good development. So let's get to the midseason point and we will see how we're doing. Okay, yeah, we are 2-4 at the midseason. I knew we would have a down year eventually. This year, what? Now our offense is one of the worst in the league with literally nothing changing, and our defense is actually pretty good. I don't know, maybe we changed coordinators or something in the offseason. I don't know. That's tough. I mean, at least our defense is good now, but this is really a Seahawks rebuild. Either your offense or your defense is going to be pretty good, but neither at the same time. I mean, that's just Madden in general, though. That's, again, I say this a lot. That's probably why I dislike Madden so much, is because, or at least the simulation, is because it just feels like being a Seahawks fan. It's just Seahawks Simulator, or Seahawks Season Simulator every single year. I really thought I could stop complaining, huh? No, I can't. But who do we have to re-sign this year? Ooh, Charles Cross. I'm gonna be honest, he might be one of the worst players in this game. I say that for a lot of players, but, well, he's been pretty good. Am I really gonna let him trick me into extending him? He's not interested, though. That's the thing. If he takes this, 3 years, 51, he doesn't. Okay. Chenna Nwosu, he hasn't been great. He has half a sack on the season so far. I think I'm okay. Thank you. How many did he have last year in real life? Not last year, but I guess last year. 9? I thought it was like 12. I mean, 9's still pretty good, but I thought it was more. Trey Brown, he's not really a starter anymore. All right, we don't really have too many starters to re-sign this year. We do have Leonard Williams, actually, but we might just draft somebody there. He hasn't been crazy good for us here. We'll see. I mean, something needs to change. It looks like we're not really losing any problems on offense, but what even is a problem anymore? I don't know. Let's get to the end of the year and let's see what happens. I like how I went from, I'm excited to be doing a video again, to, oh yeah, Madden. That happened real quick, huh? Nothing wrong with this game. Nothing wrong with it. All right, but yeah, unsurprisingly, we finished 7-10 in year number 3. I wish we would have been even worse, because what, 7-10's probably gonna get us like the 11th pick? Let me see what we have. Maybe 12th? The 7. I've gone like 7-10 and had like pick 14. What do you mean 7? We'll take it. But let's check out our season stats. Geno Smith was good. 3,400 yards, 29 touchdowns. The picks were a little high, but he wasn't really the problem this year. Kenneth Walker was very good. Receiving was a little low. JSN was our leading receiver with only 965 yards. Charles Cross wasn't great. I'm glad I didn't pay him. Ooh, and Graham Barton joins the all castration team. That's surprising. Which, if If you don't know, that's my imaginary list of players that don't allow a sack in a season, which isn't very imaginary anymore. Somebody actually went through all my rebuilds and found every player that didn't allow a sack in a season, which is insane behavior. That's behavior I can respect, honestly. But 101 tackles for Devin Witherspoon led the team. That's different. I don't even know the last time I've seen a corner lead the team in tackles. TFLs, we had a lot. And sacks, 11.5 for Boye Mafe. He finally did well. 8.5 for Kenny Clark, 6.5 for Chen Nwosu, 5 for Leonard Williams, and picks, 3 for Briggs, 2 for Dodson and Witherspoon, and then 1 for a few players. But let's go quickly over yearly awards. MVP goes to Lamar. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Bijan. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aiden Hutchinson. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Benji Laws for the Bears. That sounds like an NBA player name more than a football player name. I don't know why. Maybe not Laws, but Benji. Who's even the last NFL player with the name Benji? I don't know. But Ridgeway at number 10. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Del McMichael for the Giants. No, see, we really haven't had any rookies be up there for offensive or defensive Rookie of the Year. I guess we had Ridgeway at 10, but that's number 10. But let's get into the final offseason of this rebuild, and let's see what we can do. But in the Super Bowl, the Cardinals win it over the Chiefs? What have the Super Bowl winners been here? Colts, and Cardinals? Why? Do they have a good overall team? Probably not, but maybe. It's probably worse than ours. Shocker. Yep, they're an 84. We were an 87. I guess maybe they've regressed too, but probably not as much as us. The Chiefs were an 89 and the Cardinals beat them in the Super Bowl. This game is something else, man. I mean, sure, overall shouldn't be everything, but it should be more than it is. Much, much more than it is. Those are some interesting Super Bowl winners so far. At least it's not a Colts three-peat. But let's see who we want to re-sign. Charles Cross, I'm good. Zach Charbonnet, he isn't very expensive. I guess we can bring him back. He's been decent. Or not. Okay, cool. Graham Barton, I guess we'll pick up the 5th year, but that doesn't really matter. Chen Nwosu, nah. He was fine last year, but not great. I want a great number 1 pass rusher, so that's what we're going to look for in free agency. And if we can't find one, I might trade for one. We'll see. We're unfortunately going to let Tyler Lockett go. I think we're going to let everybody here go. We'll refill out our depth through the draft and maybe some free agents, but I don't really want to pay any of these guys, honestly. So let's see what we can do in free agency. I feel like my voice is getting more and more fucked up as we go on. And it looks like an interesting free agent class. There's one very, very good player in AJ Brown, but outside of him, it looks just pretty good. Let's see what we can do. We might go absolutely crazy here. We'll see. I'm going to restructure some deals. We might as well just spend all of our money and go for it this year. Why did I go to the roster? I'm fucking stupid. I was trying to show that here is what we are going to try to do in free agency. We're not going for anybody that's like an insane overall, but all these guys would be pretty big upgrades. There are certain players that I wanted for sure, like AJ Brown, but there were teams that were interested in him that we couldn't really compete with. Same with Jordan Addison, but really we're doing what we can here. I don't even know if we'll get Marcus Williams. I hope we will, but I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if we don't, because, you know, we have another good free safety. He hasn't played well. I can't even remember his name, but he's a decent overall. But we're also going for Taylor Decker. There are a lot of good left tackles, but it looks like he's been the best performing, so hopefully he does well. We'll see. But we're also going to go for Jaden Reed. He was the best receiver we could actually get. We're also going to go for Michael Mayer, and then we're going to try to bring Leonard Williams back. So pretty good free agent class here. We still have a little money left over, but I don't know what I would want to do with that. There unfortunately isn't a very good pass rusher, so I think that might be something we trade for. We'll see. I did also make it our focus position, so that could be something we draft. But let's see if these players want to sign, and all of them do. And it looks like we get everybody except for Marcus Williams, unfortunately, but at least we got everyone else. Looks like AJ Brown goes to the Broncos. Okay, he's just gone now. Did my controller break or my game? Okay, both, apparently. Bryce Young to the Rams. That's something. The Broncos? AJ Brown, Laramie Tunsil, Jamal Adams, John Michael Schmitz. They're doing something. But anyways, let's get to the draft and let's see what we can do in our final draft. Hopefully it's good. My drafting hasn't been the best today. Well, it's been about as good as it could have been, but hopefully there are good players at a position of need. Pat Black, there's a joke to be made there. Like he met Pat White, and that's how Mahomes was made. I don't know. There's some joke to be made there. Also, Carlos Coffey. What the fuck kind of name is that? That goes kind of hard. Also, how many first-round QBs are there? What? Oh my god, this might be the most I've ever seen. There are 9 first-round quarterbacks. Now, probably 2 of them are gonna go in the first round, but still, that's crazy. Oh yeah, I forgot it does that. What the fuck is wrong with this game, dude? Why do we pick at number 10 now? Oh, wait, no. Wait, teams don't really trade for picks, though. I don't know what's wrong. So we were projected to pick at 7, but now we pick at 10. Why? Like, the only thing I could think of is if... No, but that wouldn't even make sense. If, like, there was a playoff team still playing that had a draft pick that belonged to another team, that would be a late first-round pick either way, because that would be a playoff team. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with this game. The season was over. Our pick should have been set, but let's see what we want to do at number 10. We could also trade this pick away. Pat Black is still here. That's something. Okay, there are 2 good pass rushers. Marquise Price, and I would take Terrence Callahan. He'd be a better scheme fit. My controller disconnected again. I am gonna do some things. Not necessarily worth the pick, but he's like our best option. I wouldn't want to go with one of these guys. They would go way down in terms overall. Should I just take Terrence Callahan? Again, we're at pick 10. He's only a first to second round talent. Wait, I thought he had... Oh, his 40 time confused me. I don't know why. I thought it was different before. But I just looked at Combine the first time and I looked at Pro Day the second time. I confused myself a lot. He's probably gonna have normal dev. I probably should trade this pick, but... How much cap space do we have? Do we have enough to trade this pick for a really good pass rusher? I would guess no, but maybe we do. Ooh, we do. All right, well, we're trading our first round pick and our second round pick for Max Crosby. That might be a bit much because our first round pick is an early it's a top 10 pick. I don't know how much I care. Honestly, we don't really have many needs anymore. These picks aren't really gonna matter. By the way, Max Crosby had 23 sacks last year, so I can't wait for him to have 6 this upcoming year. It's gonna be great. Why do we have upgrade? Oh, because Max Crosby. That's weird. I've never seen it show that in the draft. It's obviously not supposed to, but just yet another thing in Madden. But now in the third round, our actual first pick, probably the only pick I'm gonna show here. I don't even know what I want to do, honestly. Eddie Baker looks okay. Isn't that the name of an actual person? I don't know. Probably. Shout out if your name's Eddie Baker, all 0 of you watching. Stan Spitzer's a first-round talent. I might just take him, because I don't know what else to do. Ooh, Rashawn Radley looks pretty good. What's his speed? Great speed, great acceleration. Oh, shit. He ran a 4.33 and a 4.28. That's not elite for either of them? I mean, we're going to take him. I feel like a 4.28 at his pro day should be better than 94 speed, 93 excel, but, I mean, 94 speed, 93 excel is good, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Okay, and now actually last pick. Let's see if that linebacker's still here. No. Tough. But here's how we did in the draft. I guess us not having a first round pick didn't really matter because Rashawn Radley is very good. 79 overall with the hidden dev. I don't know if he's gonna play, but I don't know if we could have gotten a player there that would have played. So I just went the best player I could find, and I think that was a good pick. I do want to see what the linebackers overall is. Oh, there was a very good running back this year, but this wasn't a very good class outside of him. So Radley was tied for the 4th best player. Where was the linebacker? It wasn't Palmer. It was Spitzer, 76, so we made the right choice there, easily. But Spitzer was also pretty good, just not quite a top 5 talent like the corner we got. So we'll take it. And let's get into the final year of this rebuild. We will see how this team's looking. But here's a look at the team heading into the 4th and final year of the rebuild. Now up to an 88 overall team. Very good now. We went up, what, 4 overall in 1 year? Last year we were only an 84 heading into the year, and hopefully we can develop throughout this year. Also, something interesting is Tyrell Dodson got superstar dev. That's kind of nice. I highly doubt he'll be a long-term option for this team, but I guess he could be if he plays well enough. No, if he plays well, they just won't re-sign him. If he plays poorly, they'll overpay him. I have so much faith in this front office, as you can tell. But yeah, very good team on paper, so hopefully we can play well. If we're bad at the midseason, I'm going to switch a lot of stuff. I might even force wins, we'll see. But let's just get straight to the end of the year. Oh yeah, one more thing. I also signed Shaquille Barrett. He was just a free agent. I feel like he's underrated in real life. He didn't have many sacks this year, but he had a lot of pressures. I know people hate to hear pressures. That's like people's trigger word, especially TJ Watt fans or Steelers fans in general, but pressures are important. Pressures can lead to picks. It can run the quarterback into other sacks. It can at very least put pressure on the quarterback. I don't know why people treat it like it's such a nothing stat, like an absolute 0. Like, it can lead to things that are even better than sacks. I'm not saying it always does, but I hate the whole fucking pressures don't mean anything idea that fans have coped themselves into. I hate it. Anyways, let's get to the end of the year and let's see how we do. Okay, I'm forcing wins. What the fuck? We're 1-6. All right, we're gonna go 11-6, which maybe even isn't good enough for the best roster in the league. The Lions also have an 88. The Falcons have an 89, so I guess we're not the best. I guess we're third. The Chiefs have a 90. Yeah, this is fucking stupid. I'm force winning the rest of these games in our favor. I'm not even gonna do how I usually do force wins if I do them, where like if we're the better overall team and accounting 1 overall for home field advantage. I'm not even gonna do that. I'm force winning the rest of the schedule for us. This is stupid. Wow, no way. What a comeback. We went from 1-6 to 11-6. That's crazy. What a bounce back. I also did, I switched our playbooks at the midseason because those were not working, apparently. I switched our offense to, you guessed it, Kansas City, and I switched our defense back to the Seahawks because it was working a hell of a lot better than the Chiefs, or the Ravens was. I think my favorite is still the Buccaneers, which I know is weird, but it's the one that works the best for me. I don't know why. I hate how playbook oriented this game is. It sucks. Because in real life, if teams have poor coaching, they can at least overcome it if you have good enough players. That doesn't really happen here, clearly, because we were 1-6. So I don't know. But Geno Smith ended up being good. 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 8 picks. Looks like we made the right choice there to keep him. 1,500 yards, 5.3 per carry for Walker, and 15 touchdowns. He's been really good. Normally, he isn't great in this game, but he's been a monster here. His first year, only 4.2 per carry isn't great, but 1,250 yards, 9 touchdowns. Like, he's been really good. JSN had 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Metcalf was good. Mayer, actually. Oh, yeah, Chiefs offense. Taylor Decker wasn't great, but the rest of the line was. Tyrell Dodson led the team with only 99 tackles. TFLs, we had a lot, led by 18 for Kenny Clark, and sacks 15 for Max Crosby. I wonder what that would have been if we didn't force wins, though. I don't think it would have been quite as good. But 8.5 for Clark, 8 for Mafe. I thought he would have a complete fall off this year. Did dip down a little bit, but I expected him to have like 4 sacks. And then 6 for Williams and picks, 3 for Witherspoon, 2 for Trotter and Woolen, and then 1 for a few players, including Max Crosby and Boye Mafe. Interesting. But MVP goes to Trevor Lawrence. That's something. Offensive Player of the Year goes to CeeDee Lamb. Kenneth Walker at number 4. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Micah Parsons. Max Crosby at number 3. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Clint Alexander for the Vikings, and Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jarvis Moon. Hard name for the Lions. I feel like I sound like the fucking nerd emoji right now. My nose is so plugged, it's making me sound like I'm doing a intentional, like, nerd voice. It sucks. I hate being sick. I mean, I'm not really sick anymore, but a little bit still. I'm gonna force win this game too. Call me lame. I don't give a shit. We are at home in 3 overall better. I would count that as 4 overall better. I'm forcing this win. I don't care. We're not losing this game. I don't want to go out on that note, because I know what'll happen if I don't force win it. We deserve it. If we didn't deserve it, I wouldn't force win it, but we deserve it. This game drives me insane, dude. Like, genuinely. But let's simulate this game against the Eagles. Actually, super quick, let's get a quick recap of the team. Did I already do this? I think I already did. I don't know. It's looking good. Here's the offense, 88 overall, and then we have a 91 overall defense now. It is very good. Devin Witherspoon playing up to a 97 with morale, base 96. He is very good. But let's sim this game and get our win. And it was pretty low scoring, but we at least win 21-14, and this is where we say goodbye to our rebuild. We're going to be taking on the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional, and they're only an 85 overall, which I think works in their favor because the higher overall you are, the worse you do, it seems like. But yeah, this very well could be the last game of the rebuild. I did what I could. We are almost the best roster in the league. I think tied for second with the Falcons now, which is a weird team to be tied with. But let's see what happens here. Yeah. Why would we beat a worse team? That's why I was force winning it. But hey, I did what I could. Let's just pretend we lost the Super Bowl, because that's what it should have been, I guess, based off of roster talent. I mean, we should have won it because we have the best coach ever in Mikey McDingle, the greatest of all time. But we all know that can't happen. But again, this was a ton of fun to build this team. It's very good. Ironically, the offensive line still is maybe the weak point of the team, but it isn't bad. It's just everything else is really good, and it's just... I mean, if this was a real offensive line, an average of like an 82, that would maybe be the best in the league, but it is definitely our weak point, but it is still good. But again, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Again, 3,000 likes for another Seahawks rebuild, my favorite team, unfortunately. And subscribe for more if you liked this one. Most of my rebuilds are like this. And last thing, let me know any fun rebuild ideas y'all have down below. But expect another video tomorrow, and thank you all so much for watching, and with that, I will see y'all again in the next video. Goodbye.